All right, mic check, mic check. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Hopefully everyone's doing well. And it looks like we're actually pretty much on time today. 12:02, can't complain about that. So actually just ended up getting a video up, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. It was on brown rice tea. And then I can also kind of build on that video and do a brown rice and green tea. So very interesting video. I think you guys will like it. But if you guys can hear me, give me a yes in chat, or maybe even a 1. And then I know you guys can hear me and we're all set and ready to roll on this stream. It says that we're ready to go. It says that we're live. Is everyone in right now? Can anyone hear me? I guess that's the most important thing. Hopefully everyone can hear me. And it looks like it says we're live, so again, you should be able to hear me, guys. If you can't, I'm not sure what I can do about it, but if you can, give me a 1 in chat or a yes, or just anything that'll give me hope that you guys can actually hear me in chat right now. Everything's plugged in, so we should be good. Just let me know if you guys can hear. Hey Tammy, can you hear me? Hopefully you can. I've been sitting here just wondering if anyone can hear me. I know there's people in the chat, but I know not everyone likes to kind of type and talk in chat. So if you can hear me, Tammy, it'd be great. Maybe if you could just let me know real quick. Yes, you can hear me. Judah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Now I know I'm not just talking to myself right now. So thank you so much, Judah. Thank you so much, Tammy. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming in and joining the chat. I really appreciate it. Hey, it's all good, Tammy. Trust me, we're in the middle of a ice storm here as well. JW, thank you so much. I appreciate you letting me know that you can hear the stream. Thank you so much, guys. Again, it's nice knowing I'm not just talking to myself or spitting out information that no one's taking in. Now, I just have to preference this. If we do get a no signal again, I unfortunately am not going to take responsibility for it, because I've been trying to fix it and I really have no idea why it cuts to the no signal, why it would leave the picture that we have up right now and cut to the no signal. I don't even have that program on right now, and in fact, if it happens again, I might even uninstall it. So first things first, if that does happen, I apologize, but as I always say, the most important thing is that we're getting the information out there and that you guys are asking your questions and I'm able to ask them for you. Okay, so Kuan, hello. Joshua, hello. Hope you're doing well. Hope you guys are all doing well. Very familiar names, trust me. I see you guys in the comments all the time. I see you in chat all the time. So let's just sort of lay the groundwork for today. I wanted to talk a little bit about healthy fats. There was a few videos that we made this week where we were talking a little bit about pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, and all that good stuff. And I really wanted to talk about just how important healthy fats are to a well-balanced and actually a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet in and of themselves. There's been so much information out there. Maybe you want to call it misinformation, I'm not sure. But, you know, we need those healthy fats. And so I want to talk a little bit about what are some good healthy fat sources, how much fat should we be eating, if it matters if we're eating fat different times of the day, that type of stuff. So we'll get into all that, but as always, if you guys have questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those as well. I am also here in West Africa, Liberia. I remember Kuwan. I remember you're all the way from Liberia. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Queen, awesome to see you in here. Joshua again. Nicola, that's awesome. Robin, good to see you again. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on in. So let's talk a little bit about, we made that pumpkin seeds video. Let's first talk about a little bit how much healthy fat should you be getting a day. Now, again, it depends on your size and it depends on your weight, okay? Because we're always going to be comparing it to how many calories you should be eating during the day. So what a lot of studies are showing now, and it's actually quite funny because it can fluctuate quite a bit depending, even if let's say you had to eat a 2,000 calorie diet, it still fluctuates quite a bit. And I see the good questions in there. I'm going to get to those in a second, guys, because those are really important questions and we're going to make sure that we address them. But let's talk a little bit about how many or how much in grams, how many healthy fats should we be eating? So let's say that we're supposed to be eating a 2,000 calorie diet. That's going to keep us in maintenance. So we'll neither gain weight or we won't lose weight. So we're not in a surplus or a deficit. So what a lot of studies are kind of demonstrating out there is you want to get about 20% to 35% of your total calories from healthy fats. Okay, and healthy fats are your polyunsaturated fats, monounsaturated fats, omega-3s, omega-6s, omega-9s, all that good stuff. Alpha-linolenic acid, again, that's just a plant-based compound that's very similar to omega-3. Well, it is omega-3, it's just plant-based compound. So anywhere from 20% to 35%, I tend to recommend, and again, this is someone who just has a passion for researching, a passion for nutrition. I like a little bit more on the higher end of that 20 to 35%. So a lot of people, we've grown up almost being scared of fat, where in fact, we actually need those healthy fats to maintain a ton of bodily processes and to remain healthy. And if you want to lose weight, you're going to have to eat healthy fat to do that, because if not, our body is going to shut down, hormones are going to be, off kilter, they're going to have trouble. So those healthy fats are very important. So that kind of sums up, there's different ways to measure it. I like the percentage of of total calories. We'll get into body weight in a sec. I like the percentage of total calories that you're eating. Try to keep it within a 20% to 35% range. I would keep it somewhere around like 25, 30. I think that's the easiest. So make sure you're getting those healthy fats in. Now let me go to the questions here. What if you're always hungry at night and you're trying to lose weight? Nicola, that's an awesome question. I see Joshua also said pumpkin seeds are a good source of omega-3s. Yes, as we mentioned in the video this week, Joshua, you're 100% correct. Those pumpkin seeds are often going to be high in alpha-linolenic acid, especially as well with flax seeds. Flax seeds are very high in omega-3 fatty acids. So let's go to your question, Nicola, of what if you're always hungry at night and you're trying to lose weight? You know what? That is a very common thing that you see all the time. I do tons of consultations and it seems like we get those hunger pains at nighttime. One thing you might want to do and maybe ask yourself, are you drinking enough water during the day? Are you staying hydrated? Because a lot of the times we can confuse being dehydrated with actually being hungry. And we might think that we're hungry, but in a lot of times it's actually dehydration. We put little to no emphasis on actually how much water that we are drinking in total. And at nighttime, sorry if I'm drinking into the mic, I'm just enjoying a coffee right now. So look at your hydration levels. Another thing that I would sort of add, and it's kind of a nice little lead in, we're kind of going on topic with our title here. First look at hydration. If you aren't drinking enough water, a lot of the times that's, you're going to start to feel hungry during the middle of the day and especially at nighttime. And that's why you see so much When people overeat or they snack or start to reach for like the cookies and sugar and stuff like that, it's because they're actually dehydrated, not drinking enough water during the day. See it so often. All right, so if you're trying to lose weight, another good thing is make sure that you're hydrated. I think that's a good one. Another thing that I would sort of point out is something at nighttime which can help us is healthy fats again. Okay, something like even as simple as 5 Brazil nuts or 10 almonds, getting those healthy fats in. And here's why. All right, people think that I just throw those numbers out there for no reason, but here's why healthy fats like even pumpkin seeds are going to give you the most bang for your buck and really help crave those nighttime hunger pains. Something like almonds, 1, they're dense in calories. That's why we don't need to eat a ton of them. 2, they're amazingly high in fiber. 3, they're amazingly nutrient dense. 4, they're high in protein. And then, is there anything else? Fiber, protein, high in nutrients, and calorie dense. So again, that's why we don't need to eat. Oh, and the last thing, maybe the most important one, this is kind of the one I was thinking, they're not going to spike your blood sugar. So when you get a spike in blood sugar, a lot of times we crash and then we start to get those cravings, especially with like carbohydrates, things like that. So that's what I often recommend for nighttime. And it doesn't have to be almonds. I don't like to use shoulds or have tos. It can be anything. So it could be almonds, it could be pumpkin seeds, it could be walnuts, Brazil nuts, avocados would be nice. You're just not getting quite as much of the fiber, but avocados, yes, would work. They're pretty satiating. And the thing with those nuts and seeds is they're very slow digesting. Okay, so they are going to keep you satiated for a little bit longer. Now drink L-carnitine. Is that a fat burner? I know it's amino acid, but is one of its benefits fat burning? I'm not 100% up to date on L-carnitine. So maybe if you could explain that just a little bit to me, that would be great, Nicola. I'm trying to go into my reserves here. I'm not huge on fat burning supplements or foods that are going to burn fat. I've talked a little bit about this in different streams. I think your best bet is just eating in a calorie deficit, staying active, and things like that. Is it bad to drink? Absolutely not. It can give you a little bit of an edge if everything else is under control. So say you're, again, eating a well-balanced diet, you're in a calorie deficit, and you're being active, then yes, it could help as a supplement and give you that extra edge. But maybe, I think it's an amino acid that could have some fat-burning effects if I'm not mistaken. How can pumpkin seeds be prepared or used to get the full benefits? Good question, Kuwan. I like raw pumpkin seeds, to be honest. Okay, so how to prepare them? Basically, here's what I do. I eat pumpkin seeds one of 2 ways, and it's always raw. Now, does that mean you can't cook them or use them in recipes? Of course not, but I always like to get raw pumpkin seeds. I find them the most satiating. I find them the easiest to prepare and to eat, to be honest with you. And I haven't seen any studies that show or demonstrate that cooking pumpkin seeds or baking pumpkin seeds takes away a little of the nutritional value. I'm talking raw pumpkin seeds, by the way, here, guys, where it really hurts the nutritional value all that much. But raw pumpkin seeds, you can just eat. They're pretty tasty, so I don't think there should be any difficulty eating raw pumpkin seeds in and of themselves. But if you want to, you can add them to different salads. It's a great way to add healthy fats to your green vegetables, and again, very filling and a great way to add healthy fats again. And also, I would use a light salad dressing when I'm doing that, because if you're getting a lot of fat from your salad dressing and then you're adding fat to it, it's going to be pretty high in calories. So just keep that in mind. But the way you can add them to a number of different recipes. I can't really, there's so many out there, I can't really name a certain recipe off the top of my head. And to be honest, I've never really put them into a recipe. I just usually will have them raw or in salad. And then that way I can measure them and weigh them. And I know exactly how much I'm getting in one serving. Hey, my pleasure, Nicola. And again, avocados, yes, I'm a big fan of avocados. Again, very satiating and things like that. Marilyn, I don't know if I've seen you in chat before. If not, welcome. And if you have been in chat, then I apologize. I haven't recognized the name. Sometimes the questions just kind of fly by. I'll lose track. Layla, same thing with you. Trust me, I see all the names. I'm just always trying to remember if I've seen you in chat. Thank you for smashing that like button, guys. You guys are doing a great job. We're already at 14. So hopefully that makes sense, Kuwan. I just like them raw, to be honest with you. Unsalted, I'll usually go unsalted. But even some of the salted ones, it's very low salt. It's actually some of the salted ones in a single serving have less salt than a slice of bread. So take that into consideration too. Everyone always likes to kind of make things a little tougher than they need to be. I wouldn't recommend them with salt. I like them just natural. But again, if you can only find them salted, then you got to make do. You could always wash them too. Okay, Marilyn, let me go to your question. Sorry I skipped over you here a little bit. I'm trying to lose weight. Is butternut squash and acorn squash high in carbs because I can eat them every day for lunch? All right, butternut squash. Yes, it is a carb, but it is a fibrous carb, and it's very nutrient dense. So I prefer the acorn squash, to be honest with you. Now, and even better, I don't know if you are a fan of sweet potatoes or anything like that. But if we look at the nutritional value, I guess, of acorn squash, it's quite low in calories. And even better, it's a fairly good source of dietary fiber. So something like 100 grams is going to give you close to 100 grams of acorn squash is going to give you, I think it's somewhere around 2 or 3 grams of fat, maybe a little bit less, or grams of fiber, a little bit less than that. And it's not packed with carbohydrates as much as you think, because a lot of the carbohydrates are actually dietary fiber. So we're getting a ton of fiber with acorn squash. So I like acorn squash as a nice carb source. Same thing with sweet potatoes. Again, very high in fiber. And the other great thing with your acorn squash and stuff like that, sweet potato, is it's very nutritious. So not only is it a good source of fiber, it's low in fat, it's a fibrous kind of complex carb, but you're getting a ton of vitamin C. You're getting a ton of B vitamins. Vitamin B6 comes off the top of my head. A ton of potassium. Potassium is actually really high in things like acorn squash and sweet potatoes, but those B vitamins are amazing. A ton of magnesium. Ton of vitamin A, obviously, in that type of stuff as well. Like sweet potatoes are off the charts in beta carotene, vitamin A. So acorn squash, no different, not much different in that sense. And again, fairly low calories. So I think, Marilyn, you're doing a good job of sticking with acorn squash for lunch. I would keep it in a portion control, so not eating too much, maybe weighing it out. And with that, I would try to add in some veggies also, and maybe even a little bit of protein. Then you have a nice, well-balanced lunch. It's going to keep you nice and full. It's going to keep you satiated. And again, we don't want to just focus on one of the food groups, or one macro during each meal. We want a little bit of each, so a little bit of protein, a little bit of carbs, a little bit of healthy fat. Again, sticking in those ranges, in those percentages. But yes, acorn squash, very good. A big fan of sweet potato. I think that's awesome. And again, just as long as you're sticking to your macros, I think that would be awesome as well. So great question. I haven't had acorn squash in a while, but you are definitely making me crave some at this point. It's just after lunch here, so great question. Hey, Nicola, thank you very much for the compliment. I appreciate that. Do you do weight training, Nicola, or anything like that? Or are you just trying to lose weight sort of naturally, or just by being active, or just by diet in and of itself? I'm always curious just to see what everyone's up to. Now, you guys keep the questions rolling in. Let me go on a little bit of a diatribe of healthy fats. So we talked about how much healthy fats we should be eating per day. But let's talk a little bit about what are some healthy fat sources. I think, we know the basics. We talked a little bit about them already. But here are some of my favorites, okay? And I'm going to stay away from oils for now. We can get into oils later, like your extra virgin olive oil, canola oil, coconut oil, things like that. All right, so here's a few. Maybe if you even want to jot them down, you can. All right, here are some of my favorite healthy fat sources. And I'm going to start with one that's probably overlooked, all right, and not often thought about. And the first one would be eggs. Okay, the eggs are very high in healthy fats, very underrated. Everyone sees them, as a protein source or something that's high in cholesterol, but eggs are a very good source of healthy fats. And when we're talking about eggs, we're talking about the yolk of the egg. That's where all of the healthy fat is. So it's not the egg white, it's actually the yolk of the egg. All right, so eggs often overlooked as a healthy fat source, but when I'm making stir fries and stuff like that, and I don't have any fat into that, it's just veggies, rice, maybe some sort of lean protein, I'll crack an egg into it, so that way I'm getting a healthy fat in that meal. Okay, so eggs, often overlooked. Another one, sorry, I'm just reading your messages, Nicola. So I kind of figured you were weight training. That's funny. Just from your questions, I kind of figured that you're weight training and some of the supplements you were taking and stuff like that. So good for you. Weight training 3 times a week, cardio 3 times a week. Stayed the same weight for 3 months. Okay, maybe we can talk about that a little bit and why that might be. Usually just might have to be with the diet. We're plateauing a little bit. 3 months is a little bit long. So let's think of some strategies maybe after I get into some of the healthy fats of how we can break past that plateau. But first, healthy fat eggs, okay, very underrated. Nicholas said one, so let's just throw it out there. Avocados, another excellent one. And these are very easy to prepare, guys. So avocado, super easy. You don't have to cook. That's what I love about healthy fats. They're super easy. Unfortunately, I think we're going to get the no signal here in a second. So I apologize about that, guys, but let's just keep rolling with it. I knew that it would happen, but we actually lasted a little bit longer than I thought. So I apologize for that, guys, but let's just keep that information rolling on here. And again, I have no idea because this program isn't even open on my computer. Maybe I'll just uninstall it. So again, I apologize that, but we can just keep this conversation rolling. If you want to, open up a nice healthy looking picture on your computer and then we can continue to chat. So let's talk a little bit more about some other healthy food sources. And again, as I was saying before I just stopped there, the great thing about healthy fats is it takes little to no time to prepare. It's not like a carb, where we just talked about acorn squash or anything like that, where we actually have to cook it, wash, things like that. Thanks, JW. I'm glad you can still hear. Thank you very much for letting me know. I appreciate that. Another healthy fat, one of my favorite healthy fats is almonds. Okay, almonds are another great healthy fat. Again, super nutrient dense, known as a superfood in their own right at this point. Now we want to make sure that we're eating them in moderation. When I had suggested them before, I don't eat any more than 10 to 15 almonds at a time. And I weight lift and I can eat a little bit higher calories than most people, but still I'm eating them in moderation. So almonds are a great one. Super nutrient dense, super high in fiber. Make sure you leave the skin on, guys, because that's where a lot of the nutrients are. So almonds are another great one. High in fiber, high in nutrients, good for blood sugar levels, protein, all right? So it's gonna help keep you satiated throughout the day. Excellent source of healthy fats. Let's go on to our next one. All right, so we've had eggs, we've had avocados, and we had almonds. Now, next one I would say is walnuts. Walnuts are an excellent source of healthy fats. Again, in moderation, but again, super easy if we just buy already prepared, unshelled walnuts. Super easy to add to our diet. We can just grab a couple of halves, and again, we don't need much. You guys would be so shocked. Some people are so shocked when we actually measure out like 1/3 of a cup and just how many calories are in 1/3 of a cup of almonds or of walnuts. All right, if you're eating 1/3 of a cup of almonds and walnuts, then you're getting almost 350 calories just right there. And most of that is coming from fat. Yes, it's healthy fat, but we need to keep it in moderation because we don't want to be eating too many calories. Anything, too much of a good thing is not a good thing, guys. So like 10 almonds, I have 8 to 10 halves of walnuts, and that is more than enough. Now, the other good thing about walnuts, a little bit lower in protein, but we're getting monounsaturated fat, polyunsaturated fat, and we're getting omega-3 and some omega-6 fatty acids as well. So a little bit of different fat sources than almonds. All right. Again, awesome in fiber. And again, very easy to just grab and use as a snack. I would bring these types of nuts and seeds, maybe, if you're crashing halfway through the middle of the day or you need a healthy snack, grab these healthy fats, and then you can just eat those, and then you'll be satiated and ready to go. Then you're not tempted to go out and get something. Go out and get a sandwich or something like that. Or grab something maybe in the lunchroom if there's a cookie or something like that. I hear that all the time with clients. They're hungry, a cookie was right there, someone had brought in donuts, and then they just go and grab that. All right, sorry, I'm just reading some of the questions there. Another great one that Lauren brought up, let's just bring this up. Chia seeds. Chia seeds are amazing. I love chia seeds. Chia seeds are a great source of healthy fats. I put them, for chia seeds, I'll put them in salads, or I will put them in my smoothies. So chia seeds are a great source of fiber, an awesome source of protein, and an awesome source of healthy fats. And there might even be some thermogenic properties to chia seeds, which I've read in some studies. I know for one that we're going to get to, guys, omega-3s, they definitely do. But chia seeds can maybe help a little bit with the fat burning and fat synthesis. So chia seeds are a great one. Thank you, Lauren, for pointing that one out. We'll stay away from the oils for now. Sardines, same thing. You're going to be getting your omega-3s. So excellent. Thank you, Nicola. I'm glad that you're enjoying the tips. I'm enjoying giving them just as much, hopefully, as you guys are enjoying listening to them. All right, so there's a couple right there. Another one, let me just name off some quick ones now, all right, because we can go over. Again, they're going to be high in healthy fats, high in protein, high in fiber, satiating, antioxidants. We haven't even gotten to the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory benefits of these foods, okay? So almonds, walnuts, avocados, Brazil nuts, chia seeds, hemp hearts, all great antioxidants and healthy fats. So let's talk a little bit about, sorry, Kuan, you're saying here, I'm losing too much weight because of cholesterol. How can I put up weight with healthy fat? So has your doctor specifically said that you are losing too much weight because of cholesterol, Kuan? Or is your diet being restricted because you're trying to limit cholesterol foods? That would make a big difference in what I would say to you here, buddy. How can I put up weight with healthy fat? Again, you want to try to stick to that 20 to 35% range because you do want a well-balanced diet. So I would still eat your protein, eat your carbs, but maybe you want to lean a little bit more to that 35%. All right. So putting up your weight with healthy fat, you might just need to eat a little bit more of them. Just increase healthy fats because you're going to increase calories. Remember, protein per 1 gram has 4 calories. Carbs per 1 gram has 4 calories, but fat per 1 gram has 9 calories, okay? Now, you want to make sure that you speak with your doctor about this as well, because we don't want too much healthy fat in our diet, okay? Again, like I always say, too much of a good thing, all right, is a bad thing, all right? Maybe have a bunch of different variety of healthy fats. That could be very helpful to you in trying to put up weight. But again, not knowing what your weight is, how much you've lost, why exactly it's tied to cholesterol, it's hard for me to say. So I would say speak with your medical practitioner, Kuwan. I'm not sure why it's tied to cholesterol exactly. But yeah, if you want to put your weight up, and you don't have to use healthy fat to put your weight up, but putting your weight up is just eating in a calorie surplus. So if you're eating more calories over maintenance, then you're going to be gaining weight. So let's use the 2000 example again. So even with exercise and all that, let's say 2000 calories will maintain your weight. If you're eating 2,250, you're going to gain about a pound a week, almost a pound a week, just because you're at a surplus of calories. If you're eating 250 lower, all right, you're going to lose weight. All right, so it doesn't have to just be healthy fat. It can come from calories, from anything, protein, carbohydrates, things like that. It could come from veggies. Eating just doesn't matter. Whatever the calories are, you're gonna be gaining weight. Should I continue with onion? And thanks again, Nicola. I do appreciate the comments there. Should I still continue with onion, garlic, ginger, and honey? Will I still put up weight? I drink a lot of water daily and urinate frequently. Well, the water is good. Depends how frequently you're urinating. We don't want to drink too much water. Can depend on the size, how much activity we're getting. Again, I don't see any reason why you can't continue. Now, are you drinking that as sort of a tea, or are you drinking them, or are you eating them all on their own? Onion, garlic, and ginger are very nutrient dense, but also very low in calories. So they're not. You'd have to eat quite a bit of that, Kuwan, to actually gain weight. Honey is quite high in calories. So again, that's not a healthy fat. That's just going to be calories that you're adding. So, again, that could lead to some weight gain. Honey is awesome, but I always say you don't need a ton of honey. Eat it in moderation, because at the end of the day, it is quite high in carbohydrates. But I don't see why onion, garlic, and ginger, you'd have to eat a lot of that. So to put on weight eating those types of foods, with the honey, yes, that can help a little bit, but onion, garlic, and ginger, very low in calories, very low. And it's something that we're not going to eat a ton of at one time. We're just not. I mean, we can't throw down a bunch of onion, garlic, and ginger and really feel good about it at the same time. What percentage of healthy fats do you need to lose weight? All right, well, that's interesting. Okay. So healthy fats to lose weight. That's kind of an interesting question, Nicola, just because, you can come at that from a bunch of different ways. Sorry, as I'm just drinking my coffee here. So there's really not a percentage. That's the easy answer. What is the percentage of healthy fats do you need to lose weight? All right, again, you want to still stick to that 20 to 35%. We need healthy fats to lose weight. All right. But if you're not losing weight and you're eating close to 35% in calories, and you're eating, let's say, another 35% in protein, but then you're eating 50% in carbs, well, now you're over 100. You're eating in a calorie surplus. All right. So you need to get to that 100. You need to know how many calories it takes for you to maintain your weight and then stay within that calorie that number of calories. So there's really no percentage of healthy fats you need to lose weight. You just kind of want to stick between that 20% and 35%, because that's going to be your well-balanced meal. Now, some people go on keto diets where they're eating no carbohydrates, or a Mediterranean diet, so a lot lower in carbohydrates, where their fat will sort of exceed that a little bit. But again, it doesn't matter if you're on a keto diet, paleo diet, Mediterranean diet, if you're intermittent fasting or anything like that. At the end of the day, it comes down, are you eating more calories than you're taking in, or are you eating less calories than you need to be taking in? So, the percentage of healthy fats will depend on if you're losing weight or not, and if you're sticking in between that percentage. Olive oil for cholesterol. Well, olive oil is actually a very good healthy fat. Again, we want to keep it in moderation. I'll be honest, I don't cook with olive oil. It doesn't have a very high burning point. It's a great source of monounsaturated fat. I don't think it's too high in cholesterol, to be honest with you. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, just how much cholesterol is in olive oil. I don't think it's very much, to be honest. In fact, let me look it up. I want to look it up here. So, how much cholesterol is in olive oil? I'm guessing it's not a lot, if any. Okay, so there's 0% cholesterol in olive oil. So kind of exactly what I was thinking. So, yeah, good for cholesterol, but keep it in moderation though, Kuwan, again, because it's quite high in fat. The best thing for cholesterol with you, Kuwan, is to be active. A lot of the foods we eat, and people are scared of eating too much cholesterol because foods high in cholesterol, like eggs for one, is because they're scared of increasing their cholesterol levels. But there's been numerous studies that show cholesterol intake has very little, there's not a great significance in your total serum cholesterol levels. What will make the difference though is being inactive, living a sedentary lifestyle. Okay. So don't be too worried about foods, and especially with olive oil. I don't believe there's any cholesterol in olive oil whatsoever. And if there is, it's probably trace amounts. You just want to make sure that you're eating it in moderation, because it is quite high in calories, and as an oil, it's going to add up fast. And plus, with oils, like I was mentioned before, with the almonds, walnuts, Brazil nuts, chia seeds, as everyone brought up, you're not getting the fiber benefits from that. You're not getting the nutrient benefits from that. All right, you're not getting the protein benefits from those type of things. So that's why I like nuts and seeds over oils just a little bit. It's not to say that oils don't have a place in your diet. They certainly do. Like olive oil is an excellent source of monounsaturated fat. So if you're looking to increase that, great for heart health, all that good stuff. You're just not getting those other benefits with it. So that's why I kind of lean towards more of the raw pumpkin seeds, the raw almonds, those nuts and seeds that I just mentioned. That's why I sort of prefer those over oils. And oils, the calories add up super fast, and they're not very satiating. They're not going to help you they're not going to keep you full throughout the day. All right, let's continue here. 20 to 30% I see. Yeah, somewhere in around there. If you're always hungry, take a look at the diet. I know that you said that you're not losing weight, Nicola. If you're not losing weight, that could be an issue. Hey, no problem, Kuwan. If you're not losing weight, then that could be an issue. You've plateaued, obviously, and for 3 months you've plateaued for quite a bit. I would need to know more about your diet, though. If you're always hungry, could be for a number of reasons. How much water are you drinking a day first? Take a look at hydration, and then how many meals a day are you eating? And then what's the breakdown of those meals? That's the most important things. If you're always hungry, that's not very fun. Life's not fun when you're always hungry, my friend. So you'd want to make sure that diet you really got that diet down where you're satiated throughout the day and you're enjoying your food and you're not restricted. Even a lot of the times, if we're kind of restricting ourselves too much, we go kind of into that starvation mode, we're going to plateau. So it could be something where you're not eating enough calories per day. But again, I don't have enough information. Again, not a medical practitioner. but I'm just going off by studies I've read and experience. So those would be the things that you want to look at. All right, let's continue on here. Complete health. How are you doing? I can't remember if you're new into the chat or not, but if you are, welcome. And if you aren't, then I apologize. Hello, what's the exact ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 that we need to intake? That's a great question. So I wouldn't be too concerned about a ratio or everything like that. I just like getting, you can optimize it, and it's a good question. I just like to make sure that I'm getting enough omega-3s and omega-6s. So I believe the ratio is something like 4-to-1. So typically it would be like a 4-to-1 ratio would be optimal. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. So omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acid ratio, 4-to-1. I think that might be changing a little bit right now, especially with, again, it depends based on how many calories you're intaking and things like that. But it seems like for omega-6 to omega-3, the ratio, I believe, is either 5-to-1 or 4-to-1. So hopefully that helps with your question. But I seem to do remember that it's a 4-to-1 ratio. Omega-6 being the 4 again, and omega-3 being 1. And I love both omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. I take fish oil every day. So I am a big fan. Tons of benefits with omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, and again, some of the healthiest fats that you can have. Also, it's going to help with fat loss. Again, it's not the perfect be-all, end-all cure to stomach fat, but again, it can help with fat metabolizing and fat synthesis a little bit. So hopefully complete, that helps answer your question. I believe it is 4-to-1. Again, you might want to speak with your medical practitioner just to make sure that that's correct, but I've always heard, and I've heard this for a number of years, that it's a 4-to-1 ratio. Hey, no problem. My pleasure. Could I put raspberries in my porridge? Nusa, I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Absolutely. The easy answer to that one is absolutely, my friend. I love adding raspberries. Here's my two favorite fruits to add to porridge and to smoothies. Raspberries would be one of them, and then the other one would be blueberries. If it's not, blueberries may be first, but raspberries are an excellent source, or an excellent fruit, and easy to add to porridge. I think it tastes great with raspberries and porridge. I love it. Same thing with blueberries, but raspberries, very high in antioxidants, tons of fiber, tons of nutrition in raspberries, and they're not very high in calories. They're very nutrient dense while being low in calories, so that's why I love them so much. So if you're eating porridge, oatmeal, things like that, making a smoothie, raspberries are an exceptional choice. It truly is. Again, excuse me as I take a drink of coffee here. But yeah, I like adding raspberries and I like adding blueberries. Those are my two go-tos. Always adding those. And thanks again, guys, for all the likes. We're up to 20 likes right now. You guys are crushing it. I really appreciate you guys. Hey, no problem, Kuwan. And you know what? That's another thing. You know, we really dwell on making sure that we're getting enough veggies and protein, or eating the right carbohydrates and things like that. Healthy fats a lot of times goes out the window, and a lot of times they're unhealthy fats. So what would be an unhealthy fat? Let's look into that. All right, so things that are high in saturated fats. So we do need some saturated fat in our diet, but it's not a lot. Okay, it's definitely not a lot. So of that 20 to 35%, saturated fat would be very low in that percentage. Yes, we do need some. A diet that's obsolete in saturated fat would be incomplete, but that saturated fat, like I said, is very low. So foods that are high in saturated fat, and perhaps even worse are foods that are high in trans fats. Trans fats offer no benefit whatsoever. They sort of just sit in your body, and it's very hard for our body to break down, and a lot of times stored as fat as well. All right, so we're talking about processed foods here most of the times. That's where you're going to find your saturated fats, your trans fats, things like that. Fats that aren't high in your polyunsaturated, monounsaturated, omega-3s, that aren't very nutrient dense, things of that nature. Now, people will always ask me or always bring up to me, well, what about coconut oil? I always hear about all the benefits of coconut oil, but isn't that super high in saturated fat? So let's talk a little bit about coconut oil. There's a difference between the saturated fat in coconut oil than, say, something like a fast food burger or something like that. Coconut oil has medium chain, saturated fats, I believe. Let me just make sure I'm getting that right. So their saturated fats are a little bit different than the saturated fat that's coming from, say, like your burger or things like that. So medium chain triglycerides, guys, all right? So actually beneficial, all right? So we're saturated fat, not good for heart health, obviously, not good for a number of chronic diseases. Can increase HDL cholesterol, so again, your bad HDL cholesterol, not good for total cholesterol as well, and definitely not good for LDL cholesterol being your bad, HDL being your good, so not good for LDL cholesterol. Whereas coconut oil, yes, it does have saturated fat, very low in polyunsaturated fat and monounsaturated fat. That's why everyone always brings it up to me. Most of the fat is actually coming from saturated fats, but again, it's medium chain triglycerides. That's the saturated fats in coconut oil, and it can actually improve cholesterol levels, unlike saturated fats from those other foods that we talked about. So it's just broken down by our body a little bit different, and actually does have some health benefits. Again, I would always say consume in moderation. Coconut oil, very high in fat. Obviously, we just said saturated fat, and that's primarily the fat that you're going to get from coconut oil. So again, just in moderation. Oh, what dried beans do you recommend, and what do you use in your coffee? That's a great question, Marilyn. I'm very simple when it comes to coffee. I do not make my own coffee. I literally it's a home brew. So I just use a Keurig. I wish that I could kind of grind and had a French press and something like that where I can make my own coffee. To be honest, I'm kind of switching away from coffee. I'll drink it black, but I'm trying to switch away from coffee, and I'll drink a turmeric green tea every day and a green tea every single day. But that's an excellent question in terms of coffee. But yeah, this is just a regular Keurig coffee. Nothing spectacular here in terms of nutrients or anything like that. The reason why I'm drinking a coffee right now at this time is because it's the middle of the day for me, and caffeine is an appetite suppressant. So during that middle of the day time, I like to kind of use that to suppress my appetite and things like that. So I don't have much to say on dried beans. I haven't really looked too much into the coffee. I'm not a huge coffee connoisseur or anything like that, but that really is an excellent question. All right, let's move on to our next one. Sorry if I'm missing some, guys. I know I hate. I do bring this up from time to time. If there is a super chat in the chat here, that one will always be answered first. That way I will never miss it, and I'll always make sure I go into in-depth quality on that question, and then that way I won't miss it. But again, that is not expected. Your question is going to be answered at some point during the stream. If I do miss it or it does take me a little bit longer, that's why. So thank you for bearing with me, but I'll always try my best to try to get to every single question that you guys answer. So I always throw that out there. But again, just having you guys in here, having you guys thumbing up the stream and asking your questions is very much appreciated. MCT oil, that's an interesting question. With MC, so again, that's medium chain triglycerides, right? So MCT, maybe you're bringing that up. I don't know if you had a specific question in regards to that complete health, but you're 100% right. MCT, medium chain triglycerides, that's what you're going to find in coconut oil. So see, maybe I missed that when I was talking about coconut oil, so I apologize for that. But you're right, MCT oil. Actually, very popular with people trying to build muscle. So maybe, Nicola, that might be something that you might want to look into, and that maybe you could get some benefits from. Let's see, what's our next question here? Castor oil. Sorry, I think do you mean castor oil? I'm guessing you mean castor oil, Kuwan. Sorry, not to call you out. I just want to make sure that I'm getting the foods correct, because sometimes you guys bring up foods that I've never heard of sometimes, or some supplements usually that I might not have heard of a little bit. Am I a big fan of castor oil? Not really. It does have laxative benefits. I don't know about consuming. I think the more of the benefits lie in sort of it's like pharmaceutical uses, or like skincare product, like topical type benefits, like sort of like a moisturizer for the skin, or anti-inflammatory for the skin and stuff like that. Anti-inflammatory for the skin, so that can mean reducing acne and things like that. I'm just not a big proponent of castor oil, consuming it. I think there's other oils that are better. And sometimes, you can even hear a little bit of, I know it has laxative effects. So it could help relieve laxative, if you're, constipated, or, having digestive problems and things like that. But again, just not super into it. Sometimes if you're taking too much too, I believe they may have a toxic enzyme. I can't remember the exact name of it, so too much is not a good thing, obviously, as well. So you want to be careful with that. I just can't here in good conscience say that I would recommend castor oil, Kuwan. I would choose one of the other oils, and there's so many, even like your canola oil and things like that, that you're going to get good benefits out of, your olive oil, your coconut oil, things of that nature. Those are sort of my go-to oils and things like that. I haven't looked too much into castor oil, only because I've never done a video on it, only because I'm not a huge proponent or huge fan of it. So it's just not something I'm really going to look into too much. But yes, there is other oils that I would recommend as opposed to the castor oil. So I hope that helps. Now, some people are kind of wondering why I kind of recommend eggs as a healthy fat. Not only is it a healthy fat, but it's also a great protein source as well, and there's tons of nutrients. So remember, I'm always thinking, even with healthy fats, what are the nutrient benefits of the healthy fats? With eggs, it has one of your highest bioavailable protein sources, so that means you're absorbing a ton of that protein. And then 2, it's just absolutely full of nutrients. The yolk I'm talking about, that's where all the fat is, not the egg whites. So that's why I really love eggs, and I really rank them high up on the scale of healthy fats. So even though a lot of times we think almonds or walnuts or things of that nature, I think eggs are really something that we can't overlook. A lot of people are scared of the cholesterol, but again, the cholesterol in eggs, the serum is not going to have a huge effect on your total serum cholesterol levels. Again, that's more of lifestyle and living a sedentary lifestyle, not being active or working out and things like that. So, hey, no problem, Kuan. So I wouldn't be too concerned about the cholesterol in eggs. Now, would I recommend eating 8 eggs a day? Absolutely not. That's just going to be too high in fat, too high in calories, and it is kind of a little bit overkill on the healthy fats. So again, we did go over a lot of good healthy fats. Hopefully you guys got some ideas out of that. Avocado is another one that, it's so versatile in the way that we can eat it. A lot of people will put it on toast. A lot of people will put it into their smoothies. A lot of people will add it to different recipes. A lot of people will make dips with it. So avocados is a great one. Super high in monounsaturated, polyunsaturated fats. Very satiating, very nutrient dense, and it kind of gives you, even in smoothies, it gives that kind of creamy, almost pudding like flavor or that texture. So a lot of people seem to find that enjoyable. And then if we're finding the foods enjoyable, those are going to be the foods that we're going to be sticking to mostly. Again, the bad fats are the ones that are low in nutrients, for one, because there's so many healthy fat options that are so high in nutrients, like we've gone over. Your non-oils, so like your nuts, seeds, things like that, those are just so nutrient dense and you just can't overlook them. But with the oils, again, yes, they do have a lot of benefits, but you're missing a lot of like the fiber, the protein, things of that nature with them. With bad fats, again, that's going to be your saturated fat, trans fats, things that are low in polyunsaturated, monounsaturated fats, things that don't give you very good quality omega-3s, those types of fats. Things that are only probably going to be things that are hard to sort of break down in the body. They're going to add to inflammation. That's another big important thing. Saturated fat and trans fats, not only are they bad fat sources, so they don't offer very much in the way of nutrition, but they actually are going to increase inflammation throughout the body. And inflammation is one of those silent diseases that just can wreak havoc on our overall health. It can lead to so many complications with health, heart disease, diabetes, the list goes on, cognitive ailments over time. Again, the list goes on and on. I could list them all day. So, inflammation, digestive issues, again, that's huge. Inflammation throughout the digestive tract is huge because that's going to affect nutrient uptake. So even if you are eating healthy, if you're getting too much bad fat and too much inflammation is being created throughout the intestinal system, it's going to help or it's not going to help with our nutrient uptake. So even if we're eating those healthy foods, a lot less are being absorbed. Also, it's not going to help with overall gut health, that's for sure. All right, so it's not going to help good bacteria in the gut to thrive. And a lot of the times with inflammation, not only is it going to affect, have an effect on chronic disease and things like that, but it's also going to hurt in the short term as well. Inflammation could very much lead to more free radicals kind of being thrown throughout the body. Free radicals causing damage to the immune system, so it might be a little bit more susceptible to colds and flus and certain infections and things like that. Bacterial growth, microbial growth, things like that. So that's why I always say healthy fats are so important as well. All right, and we want to make sure that we're eating the correct ones, because if we're not, we're really losing out on the macronutrients. And remember, there's 3 major ones. The 3 major macronutrients are healthy fats, proteins, and your carbohydrates. And I'm going to be doing streams on all of those, all right, because it's just so important. If we want to have a nice, well-balanced diet, and if we want to live a healthy lifestyle, we need to make sure that we're eating the right amounts of fat, the right fats, the right carbohydrates, and the right protein sources. And then you have your fruits and veggies thrown in there too. Fruits are going to be part of your carbohydrates, obviously. Veggies, a little bit with the carbohydrates. There's a ton of fiber in those, so even those can be a little bit low in carbohydrates themselves. I don't even really count them, to be honest. I don't count them in my macronutrients. I'll just kind of keep them separate. They're so low in calories, and they're complex carbohydrates that's really not even worth counting them. Just eat as many as you can. Vegetables are great. I try to eat vegetables at every single meal. So if there's any more questions, I'd be happy to answer before we finish up here, guys. We will have another stream this weekend. I know that's a much better time for a lot of people. I really do appreciate you guys thumbing up the video. Again, go ahead, ask some questions. I have no problem staying for a little bit longer. Hey Mac, how you doing? Good to have you in chat. Awesome to see you. Awesome to see you guys still rolling on in. In the middle of a Thursday afternoon. So awesome. I love it. Everyone's just kind of, coming in, asking their great questions. Really, really do appreciate it. So if anyone did have any more questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I think I've gone on quite a few rants on just exactly what makes a healthy fat, what's a good fat, the difference, why coconut oil, even though is high in saturated fats, why it's a little bit different from other saturated fats. We've even gone in depth into that. I'm doing very well. Thanks, Mac. Just right now answering some questions, streaming, enjoying a coffee. Probably going to eat something very shortly, but things are going good. Thanks for asking. But I definitely want to keep doing these streams. If you guys are finding them helpful, then I'm going to keep doing them because I really enjoy them, and I love. We've been doing this channel for 8 years now, I believe it is. So being able to actually connect with you. Being able to connect with you and answer questions not in a video way or in comments, but actually in free-form discussion is a lot better. All right, now we're starting to get some questions rolling. Foods for piles. Okay, so I hope I always don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But first thing you want to do is make sure that you're eating fiber. All right, make sure you have enough fiber in your diet. So, high fiber foods. Again, it can go back to healthy fats like your almonds, walnuts, things like that. Your green vegetables, complex carbs, very high in fiber. Fiber is one of the easier things that we can actually take in. Because you can get fiber from protein, healthy fats, complex carbohydrates, veggies. You can get it through fruit. All right, so the first thing is that I would make sure that you're eating a lot of fiber, okay? The next one is make sure that you're drinking a lot of water, okay? So that's going to help, flush out the system, keep you regular, things like that. So again, water, we already talked a little bit about the foods. For the foods, again, you could really eat anything from like oatmeal, all right, which is super high in dietary fiber, both soluble and insoluble fiber. Same thing with like pumpkin seeds, which we talked about, flax seeds. Flax seeds are super high in fiber, all right. I would go with like your broccoli, your leafy green vegetables and things like that. And then like fibrous fruits, like apples, pears, things of that nature. I would really go with that as well, Mac, and I think that will help. But make sure you're staying hydrated as well. That's going to be a very important thing. And then stay away from sugars. Stay away from sugars and salts as best you can. Alcohol is not going to help because it's going to create inflammation. So that would be my 2 cents on it. All right, if you're eating sugar or sodium and alcohol and all that stuff, it's only going to exacerbate the problem, most likely. At least from what I've read and and what I've seen and even heard from clients. So hopefully that helps a little bit, buddy. All right, let me go on to the next. Is there an app where you can find local healthy foods? That's interesting. An app where you can find local healthy foods. I don't know of any apps, Chronicles, and welcome healthy foods in the area. But you know what? If you go online and just look up healthy foods, you can walk into oh, no problem, Mac. My pleasure, buddy. Same to you. Same to you. If you go into any food market or anything like that, you're gonna find healthy foods no matter what. So if you go in there with a purpose and looking for the foods that you want, and again, if you look at my channel, there's 4,500 videos on there speaking about healthy foods. And there's breakdowns of healthy proteins, healthy carbs, healthy fats, things like that. You don't even need an app at this point, Chronicles. I know apps are great. I'm sure there's one out there. There's an app for everything, it seems like, at this point. But I think even just a nice Google search can help you. Importance of using fresh ground whole black pepper for nutrient absorption. Yes, Ray. That's an interesting point. So there has been studies that show fresh ground black pepper can help with nutrient absorption, and one of the biggest ones that I've seen is with turmeric. Okay, turmeric and specifically curcumin. So whenever you're having like a turmeric or spice or something like that, adding fresh ground black pepper to it will help with the nutrient absorption of it as well. Okay, it's not going to help with everything, obviously, but there is studies that show that that fresh ground black pepper will help with nutrient absorption for certain foods. And I know turmeric is one of the big ones there. People are even now recommending to, if you're going to have turmeric, throw in black pepper because it's going to help with the turmeric, or with the curcumin, sorry. Well, thank you, Chronicles. I appreciate that. And like I said, you got it, buddy. You just do a quick Google search. You'll find those foods, and you probably know better than you think you do. With healthy fats, good carbs, and good protein sources. So thank you for the question. Hey, Deborah, glad you can make it. Listening to your way on a dental appointment. All right, good. I hope everything works out good. It's just a nice checkup, nice easy dental appointment. Thank you so much for coming on in and for listening while you're off to your appointment. We've been pretty busy talking about healthy fats, and I've actually been quite surprised how many people have jumped on here on a random Thursday, listening and talking about healthy fats. So great to have you in here, Deborah. And just for the record, we will have another stream this weekend in the afternoon. So I know that'll definitely work for you. But great questions, guys. If there's anything else, keep them coming. I love answering these questions for you. Just a cleaning? Then you're good to go. Nothing too serious, just a cleaning. Perfect. I'm trying to think of some more healthy fats for you guys. Like I said before, we've grown up so, I think even the generation before me, but even so, more so my generation, we grew sort of up in a world where fat was sort of seen as the enemy, where we were always having low fat this, low fat that. We even switched from skim milk, from whole milk or 2% milk to skim milk, from 1%, 2% cottage cheese or dairy to skim, or 0% or 1% or anything like that. But we actually shouldn't be too scared of fats. These things actually help us, all right? And especially with things like margarine and butter, there's been tons of studies where margarine actually isn't all that healthy for us. Easiest home-cooked meals to make? Well, that's an interesting question, AJ. It sort of depends what sort of nutrients you're looking to get. Easiest home-cooked meals, I think just anything with rice is super easy to make. Veggies are super easy to make. If you have anything that you can bake, like chicken and stuff like that, is super easy. Fish. Again, it just sort of depends what type of home cooked meals you're looking for. You're looking for like a big meal that you can eat over the course of a couple days, or you're looking for a quick meal that you can eat once and then you're done with it. So you're not really saving it for later. But there's tons. Heck, even a smoothie is something super easy. You can just throw it all into a blender and then drink it and away you go. I like oatmeal as a home cooked meal. It might not sound like a home cooked meal to you guys, but I have a complex carb. I can add proteins to it, like let's say a whey or a vegan or whatever. I can add fruit to it. I can add chia seeds to it. I know chia seeds was brought up, so a nice healthy fat. I can add peanut butter to it. So that's a complete meal to me. And it's very healthy, tons of nutrients, something like that. Like a quick meal. Okay, well, are you looking for protein, veggies, fats, a little bit of everything? Because if you are, like the oatmeal that I just said is an easy one. If you're looking for protein, baking up some chicken is super easy. Having a whey protein shake is super easy. It just sort of depends. Vending machines and jobs. Well, you can make rice and beans and throw a little bit of vegetables in there, and then a protein source like chicken, and then make that, and then have that for a couple of days. So you make a little bit extra, and then you have a couple of days worth of meals. So that's just called meal prepping, and you can do that. You can actually bring that to work, so it's nice and easy. I think that's a nice quick meal. And something that you're not relying on a vending machine, like you said, because vending machines aren't going to be the most nutritious foods. But, something like rice, beans, you can put hot sauce in that, something that you're going to enjoy. I would go with more something that you're going to enjoy than something quick. Something that you're going to enjoy, you're going to be able to eat every day. It's something that you can take with you. So it's versatile. You can eat it throughout the day. It doesn't really matter. And do it that way. Beans and like rice is super easy to make. You can cook chicken breast. You just throw it in the oven as the rice is cooking. They're both together. You just cut up some veggies real quick. And like I said, do that for enough for like 3 or 4 days. And then you're good to go. You have a well-balanced meal. You got your rice, you got your beans, you got your protein. Throw some veggies in there. Maybe for some healthy fats, you could throw in some seeds or almonds, or even just have them on the side. You're good to go. Maybe throw a little olive oil on the chicken as it's baking. Boom, you got your meal. I eat a lot of eggs. Vegetable fed eggs better. Grass fed eggs, sorry, do you mean, Ray Clay? Than your standard grade A. So like grass fed chicken, vegetable eggs. From what I've read, yes, they are. They have a little bit more nutrition. It just sort of depends how much you're eating and things like that. But I have heard that the grass-fed chickens and whole-range chickens are a little bit better even than standard grade A eggs. Is the difference that much negligible? It sort of depends on what study you read. But I've heard the same thing with grass-fed beef and things like that, and free range and all that stuff. So I have heard that there is a little bit more nutrients, and it's less like hormones and chemicals and stuff being put into it. So it can be a little bit better in that way. I think that might be the biggest way that it's better, to be honest with you, Ray. That's good. Okay, good, Chronicles. I'm glad that's helping, buddy. Just sort of meal ideas. And I like throwing in maybe some beans because that's a great source of fiber and also a little bit of protein. It's going to keep you full throughout the day. Because if you're going to work and you got a full day of work, you want something that's going to fill you up. Is that any kind of rice? Good question, Deborah. So I would go with brown rice. Now, you don't have to always eat brown rice. In fact, it's not recommended. That's why in today's video, I didn't say drink a glass of brown rice tea every day. You actually don't want, from what I've read in studies, you actually don't want to always have brown rice. I believe there's some enzyme or a toxin in there that might not be the most healthiest if you're eating every single day. But, you know, you can have wild rice, long grain brown rice, whole grain rice, black rice, the brown rice again, anything like that. I think you're going to be good to go with as a rice source. But I'm always a big fan of brown rice. I think you're getting the most bang for your buck. Tons of amino acids, got some protein, tons of nutrients. It's a complex carb. I find it tasty, and it kind of goes well with a bunch of different recipes. Like, I eat rice pretty much every day, and it's usually brown, but sometimes I'll switch it out for like wild rice and things like that. But I'll be honest, I'll usually go with the brown rice. I didn't really grow up on white rice, to be honest, or sticky rice or anything like that. So I've always sort of been a brown rice guy. I think sometimes maybe the way we grow up sort of affects what we eat. So brown rice is always mine, but again, switch it up. White rice, I don't always recommend. I would recommend the other ones before white rice, just because white rice, one, has a higher glycemic index, so you're going to spike the blood sugar just a little bit, but also it's very much void of nutrients. That's basically why it's white rice. Through that process, they're basically stripping it of its nutrient value. So even though it might be a little bit more tastier or people enjoy it a little bit more, it's kind of like white bread. It's just basically getting the nutrients, or at least most of the nutrients, stripped out of it. But very good question, Deborah. What benefits of drinking grass-fed milk? Interesting. I think the exact same benefits, Chronicles. To be honest, I never had grass-fed milk. That's an interesting one. Maybe I'll do a video on that. You guys always give me good video ideas. But I think the benefits of grass-fed milk would be very much the same. Coming from cows, you know, if it was free-range cows, grass-fed cows, they're not going to be getting as much of those hormones and things like that being pumped into them. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure of the whole process that goes into the farming and stuff like that. I should know more. There's just not a lot of time for me to look into that as much as I would like to. But I think a lot of that is going to be the exact same as like your free range chickens, your free range eggs, things like that. But yeah, a lot of the same with the hormonal and just what they're eating. I think it's just a lot better, and even morally, but still maybe not the best. But that's a whole different discussion. Yes, thank you. Notice the richer color in the yolks too, more orange. Yes, Ray Clay. You nailed it, buddy. I can tell a huge difference. It's so funny. Once you notice that difference, once you actually get those eggs, you notice a huge difference. I'm glad that you brought that up, just in the color. And I love the different colors. I think the more colorful, this is why I try to get as many colors in my diet as possible. More nutrients. The more different colors, different nutrients and things like that. I think those yolks are just packed with nutrients. Just jam-packed. It's like, you're right, it's not that dull yellow, it's that bright, vibrant orange, which I love. Hey, no problem, Deborah. Always my pleasure. You always ask great questions, and I really appreciate the support. So, my pleasure. You're welcome. Okay, let me just make sure I didn't miss a question up here. I feel like I did. No, I think we're good. Okay, so let's go to Ray Clay. Clarified butter, better than not clarifying it. Are you talking about ghee? Ghee with clarified butter, Ray? I don't know if you are. I don't know a ton. I'll be honest. I don't know a ton about clarified butter. I believe I have done a video about ghee. I'm just wondering if it's the same thing. I believe that it is, but I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not an expert in clarified butter or not clarifying it, and even the process of that. I believe it's higher in fat content, in milk fats, the clarified butter. So you are getting a little bit more fat. But other than that, I could be wrong. Oh, regular butter versus like margarine. Is that what you're talking about, Ray Clay? Hey, Chronicles, and no problem, my friend. Always happy to answer the questions. Like I said, you guys are great supporters, so I love giving back and answering as many questions that I can. Okay, Ray Clay, so let's break this down. Are you talking about regular butter versus like a margarine type of stuff, or is eating organic? Chronicles, that's a big point of contention. A very big point of contention. I try to eat organic as often as possible. Is it always 100% organic? Well, it depends on the definition of organic from the person who's labeling it. Let's just maybe put it that way, from what I've read. But I've had numerous veggies today that have organic on the label. I trust in these ones that they are actually organic. So you got to make sure that you're getting the right stuff and something that you trust. These foods I do trust, so I believe that they are 100% organic. But again, that's a big point of contention. Is it actually 100%? You know what? When it comes to organic stuff and the label, I stick to veggies as much as I can. Other than that, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. The definition is changing. You got to read the fine print. The vegetables that I'm getting is super easy. There's one ingredient. If there's one ingredient on the package, then I'm more and more confident that it's actually organic. It's when you start to get all those ingredients that you can't pronounce, or things that just shouldn't be in there, where you know that it's not organic and there's quite a bit of preservatives. Yes, regular butter. Notice how when I heat my butter, it sticks where the butter emulsifies. So I do remove what floats and turns brown. I've actually never noticed that. In the butter that I've always melted, right, has just always turned to normal butter. I haven't noticed anything floating around or anything like that, but I would probably do what you do, to be honest with you. I would remove that, any of like the brown stuff or things that's floating around in there. I'm not sure exactly what that might be, but the butter that I use just turns 100%. You can just tell is 100% butter. Like I said, I'm not too familiar on this stuff. This is something I'm gonna have to maybe look more into, but it's very interesting. I'm glad that we're having this discussion because I'm learning something from you right now, right? But I've never had melted butter have anything that floats in it or that turns brown. So very interesting. I'll make sure I look into that. Again, maybe that could be a video idea down the road. And again, let me thank you guys so much for hitting the like button. We're up to 26 likes. That is absolutely amazing. You guys are continuing to pour into this Thursday afternoon stream. I'm very impressed and very grateful for all of you for doing that. So thank you very much, guys. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the brown rice tea video. It was an interesting one. I think I'll build off from that video and do a brown rice and green tea video. So thank you so much for the support as always, guys. Need to leave it heat for a few minutes after it melts. Okay, maybe I'll try that. And then see what happens. All right, what are some natural ways to lower blood pressure? All right, Chronicles. So let's answer that. My best thing to say at the very beginning is I'm not a doctor. I'm just someone who has a passion for researching nutrition, diet, and I've been making videos on it for almost a decade now, 8 years, I think. So natural ways obviously is going to be diet for one. So there's a bunch of foods that are going to help with that. Fiber is good for cholesterol and apparently for regulating blood pressure levels. Another natural way is working out, to be honest, and losing weight or being a healthy weight. Now, there are some people who are just genetically predisposed or have a predisposition to having a higher blood pressure. So that's why I say sometimes you have to speak with your doctor, because even doing all these things aren't going to help. But foods that are high in potassium, foods that are higher in magnesium, antioxidants, fiber, anti-inflammatories, healthy fats, those seem to be some of the natural stuff, along with working out. But again, for you and anyone else listening, this is definitely a medical practitioner question. These are just things that I've read that can help with blood pressure, studies, but your doctor knows your medical history and things like that. So I would definitely speak with your doctor about those natural ways. And again, because sometimes it can run in the family and things like that, where we just have a predisposition for having a higher blood pressure. I know it runs in a lot of families. So, well, thank you, Ray Clay. I'm glad that you love the videos. Thank you so much for the comment. I appreciate it. All right, Deborah, speaking of diet, what diet would you recommend to lose weight? Very interesting. All right, I love this question. It's right up my alley, especially with training and consultations and diet and everything like that. So awesome question. And I can keep it very simple for you, Deborah. So for diet, it does not matter, and this is backed up by study after study after study, okay? It does not matter what diet you use. Now, it might have some mental benefits and psychological benefits, but the physiological benefits aren't always there. So it doesn't matter if you're on a Mediterranean diet, paleo diet, low carb diet, vegan diet, so plant-based diet, intermittent fasting, all those things. What the studies show is what it comes down to is calories in versus calories out. Okay, and I'm not trying to be facetious or anything like that. I just love simplifying it and stating it like that, because let's say for you to maintain your weight, Deborah, you have to eat 2,000 calories. If you eat 2,250 calories on a paleo diet, or you eat 1,850 calories on a paleo diet on a different diet, let's say, it does not matter. The more important thing is just how many calories that you're eating. Again, it could be from a Mediterranean diet, on a paleo diet, a vegan diet, things like that. There's not really one diet that's going to help you in so much lose weight than it is just eating in a calorie deficit. Now, what I will say about diet and helping you lose weight is you have to stick to a diet, or have a diet that you're going to be able to continue, and that you can eat foods that you enjoy and love. Because if you don't have that, then you're not going to be sticking to your diet, and then that's when we start reaching out for the sweets, for the high calorie dense foods, things like that. So the most important thing isn't the type of diet, it's getting the diet that you can stick to and that you enjoy and that you love. Because remember, it's a lifestyle change. A lot of people will switch it up. Keto diet, that's another one. There's so many diets out there. Atkins diet. There's just so many diets out there that, sometimes we get lost in the fine print. But at the end of the day, it's calories in versus calories out. Are we eating more calories than we need, or are we eating less? Need to maintain our weight, or are we eating less than we need to maintain our weight? And if that's paleo for you, if you can lose weight, if it's easier on a paleo diet, or it's easier on a vegan diet, or whatever the heck it is, that's the one that you should probably go with. And especially if you can maintain it over a long period of time, I would say for the rest of your life, that's probably the best way of doing it. And you're getting all your nutrients and micronutrients and everything like that. So hopefully that helps, Deborah. Does drinking water support hair growth? Never heard of that, Chronicles. I've heard of tea tree oil helping with hair growth and things like that, and biotin, I believe a B vitamin, helping with supporting hair growth and things like that, but I've never heard of water. No, unfortunately. Oh, no problem, Deborah. My pleasure. I'm glad you're able to maybe take something away from that. Okay, guys. Well, I think I'm gonna end there. Unless there's any really quick questions, I'll end it there. I can't believe we've been going for 90 minutes already, an hour and a half, just talking about healthy fats and answering diet questions. I love it. Nothing better than that on a Thursday afternoon. So thank you so much for all of your support, guys. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the thumbs up. You guys are just killing it today. I appreciate you guys watching the videos, giving thumbs up and leaving comments in those videos. It really helps. This YouTube algorithm thing is such a weird thing. No one really knows how it works, but I know with all the support you guys have been giving me, that's what matters. As long as I know that you guys are enjoying the videos, that's the important thing. And the streams, because we're going to be doing more and more of these 2 times a week at least, I would say, for right now. Maybe more, but 2 times a week I can definitely dedicate to. And our next one's going to be on weight loss. So keep your weight loss questions, guys. We're going to simplify weight loss with healthy food. I think it's going to be a good one for you guys, or for anyone really. And remember, it doesn't matter. I'll call it weight loss friendly foods or weight loss simplified or something like that. But remember, you guys are always free to come in and ask any questions that you want. All right, so I'll make it a title, but that's why I always put "and more" at the end, because we'll have our title, we'll discuss, like we discussed healthy fats today, but you guys can always go above and beyond and ask questions that you want, or questions that are specific for you. Hey, no problem, Chronicles. My pleasure. Deborah, thank you so much for the feedback. I appreciate it. And thank you, Ray Clay. And yes, you'll certainly see me this weekend. I'm thinking either Saturday or Sunday. I'm not 100% sure yet, but one of those days I will be on. And it'll probably be around the same time, probably noon Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Again, I apologize about the no signal. I have no idea why that's happening. It shouldn't happen. Again, I don't have this program opened right now. But it is what it is. We just keep rocking and keep rolling with it. And we get the information out there, and you guys just keep asking your questions. So thank you so much for the support, guys. Again, love doing it. And we'll be back this weekend. So you guys have a good one. Stay healthy, stay safe, and